What's going on, guys? Briar Rabbit here. Today we're going to talk about the PC beta for Destiny 2 and why it actually makes me more excited for the console release that's coming up on September 6th, because there are some big changes to this game that we're seeing in the PC beta. This is, of course, the second beta of Destiny 2. The first one was on the Xbox One and the PS4, and there were some player complaints. There were definitely some issues that players had. PvE, your Guardian just didn't seem all that powerful. It felt a little bit tedious getting through PvE content. That's been fixed. In PvP, you just didn't get your super often enough. You didn't feel like this was a Destiny game. It felt like any other shooter. That's been fixed as well. So, first of all, let's start off by talking about the PC version of the game. What you're seeing here is 60 frames per second footage, and what you'll notice is it looks great. It looks incredibly smooth. It looks incredibly fun. I actually made some decisions. I was playing around quite a bit, and what you're actually seeing here is the game running on low settings in PvP. I was just trying to amp up that frame rate as high as I could get it just for kicks. Now, I have a 240 hertz monitor. It's a very fast monitor, and I just wanted to, see how good it could go, how fast it could go on the PC. And what you're seeing in the top right corner, if you can see that, the little green number in the top right corner is actually my frames per second. And I gotta tell you, man, running this game at a high frames per second, a high FPS, it just looks marvelous. It plays marvelous. It's butter smooth and just a joy to behold. Now, putting the game into high settings, which you're going to see a little bit of in PvE later in the video, I put it onto high settings. It looks marvelous. Obviously, the frame rate drops a little bit, but I got to say, with the PC beta, you get so many options for customizing the game that the thing just runs on a potato. It runs on any PC that you have, like literally any PC that you have. If you have a somewhat modern graphics card and somewhat modern processor, this thing is going to run and it's going to look great. It really does. Even on low settings, the game looks phenomenal. And in high settings, I mean, it just looks intense. So I'm really excited for the PC beta. It looks phenomenal, but I was really happy with the console beta as well. The game looks fantastic on the console. And even though it's running at 30 frames per second, it was a very smooth 30 frames per second. It was a great 30 frames per second. As far as 30 frames per second goes, it felt good. So I'm not going to talk too much about the FPS here, right? We're done with that. Now we're just talking about the base game. And the changes they've made between the console beta and the PC beta have really amped up the fun factor in this game quite a bit. One of the big deals with the console beta was that in PvE, it just felt a little bit tedious, right? You didn't have enough power ammo. Your guns just didn't do as much damage as you wanted them to. Fighting mobs of enemies, it just took forever. It took a ton of ammo. You just felt like you were firing and firing and firing to take down these massive health bars with relatively weak weapons. That's changed in the console beta, and that's going to be reflected in the game. Bungie has said that they made changes to the game that are reflected in the PC beta that were not in the console beta. So this increase of damage for PvE, for our Guardians against, the minions of darkness, will be reflected in the full game. And I got to say, it just feels great. It feels like the Destiny that we've come to love over the last 3 years, right? You feel powerful. You're just mowing through trash mobs. Some enemies, yes, they take a little bit more time. Bosses, mini bosses, some of the stronger Cabal enemies with yellow health bars, they take a little bit more effort. They're more dangerous. You are threatened by these bigger bosses. But when you're running through trash mobs, as long as you're fairly accurate with your aim and, taking care of business, you just mow through these guys. You get your super back much faster. You tend to run 3, maybe 4 supers during the strike, as opposed to maybe 1, maybe 2 supers during the strike on the console beta. So they've increased the amount of super energy you gain, and it feels good. It feels more like Destiny 1, frankly, and that is fun. It's fun to use your super in PvE. It just is, and using it more often is more fun. Grenades in PvE feel more powerful. They just do more damage across the board. They feel like a powerful part of your arsenal. While they do tend to take a while to charge, that's still a thing. I think they might have increased the rate of recharge a little bit, but I'm not positive because I'd actually have to compare footage from the console beta and the PC beta to really know for sure. But it still feels like it takes them a long time to recharge when compared to Destiny 1. But when you do use them, they feel powerful. They feel very powerful. They feel like a big part of your arsenal in getting damage done. So all in all, PvE feels great. And it doesn't matter if you're playing on the console or on the PC. I think they've made good changes to PvE, to your arsenal in PvE, to make you feel more powerful and to make it more fun. They also increase the rate at which power weapon ammo spawns. So, you know, now when you bring in a power weapon, you're not just saving all your ammo for the boss. You'll see that you can actually use it against, you know, mini bosses, or you can use it against yellow health bar enemies or big mobs and not feel like you've wasted it. Now you're not going to have it against the boss at the end of the strike, which is fun. Power weapons are fun, and it's nice to be able to use them more frequently during gameplay. So I really do think that the changes they made to PvE are very good. They make the game more fun, and I think that's what you want out of a video game, right? You want fun. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about PvP, because a lot of players just play PvP in Destiny, and they've made a couple of changes to PvP that I think are really important. One, you get super energy much faster than you did in the console beta. And that makes a situation where you're actually using your super strategically as opposed to just trying to get it out before the match ends. In the console beta, a lot of the time, I felt like I'd earn my super right at the end of the match and have to just get it out before the match ended. And in the PC beta, I feel like I'm getting it about halfway through the match, and I can choose to use it, I could choose not to use it, like right then. Really, it felt like I was strategically choosing a point at which to use my super. Sometimes to great effect, sometimes not so much. But at least I had the option. Also, sometimes I'm earning my super twice during a match. And sometimes, if I'm really doing well, I might get it 3 times. Now, that's partially because Control now lasts a little longer. They upped the score limit from, I believe it was 75 in the console beta to 100 in the PC beta, and I like that change. The Control matches last a little bit longer. It feels good. I don't feel like they're too long now. It still feels like a pretty hectic match, and it's still a fun match, and I don't feel like I'm getting sick of the match before it's over. So I like the change to 100 as opposed to 75 in the console beta. I also really like the new quick play skill-based matchmaking setting. So this is a lot less reliant on skill-based matchmaking. It felt a lot more casual, a lot more relaxed, and it was a lot of fun to either play solo or to jump in with buddies. I will say, jumping in solo, it was a little harder than playing with buddies. Playing with buddies, in my limited experience, I played, I don't know, 4 hours last night with some buddies and probably 6 or 7 hours on stream yesterday solo. Solo definitely felt like, you know, it was a little harder because I was playing solo on a team and I might be matched up against a full team who's communicating. I might not be. But in quick play, it felt a lot more casual. The skill-based matchmaking was a lot more relaxed than we're used to in Destiny 1 or what we saw in the console beta of Destiny 2. I really like it. I hope they keep it just where it's at because it felt like the connections were overwhelmingly positive. There were some, you know, bad connections every once in a while. Every once in a while I saw, you know, a Titan kind of teleporting around because, you know, his connection was bad. But for the most part, the connections felt good, the game played well, and it felt much more casual than something that we'd seen in Destiny 1 or in the console beta. So I'm very excited about that. I also really like this map that we're seeing for the first time in the PC beta. This is the Control map, and it's very fun. I'm sorry if I forgot the name of it, but now we've seen 3 maps. We've seen Midtown, we've seen the map that was the Control map for the console beta, and this is the PC beta Control map. And all 3 maps have been really fun, and I've enjoyed them immensely, and it's got me really amped for PvP in Destiny 2. Every map that I've played so far has been a ton of fun, and, you know, I can't wait to see what else they come up with because they're on a roll right now. Every map I've played has been just gorgeous and a lot of fun to play. This map actually, it's funny. It's kind of like this circular map, more or less, with the points kind of in a triangle, like around the map. So you can skirt the edges of the map and run from point to point. You can play with your team. You also have great flanking opportunities by staying to the outer edges of the map and staying off your enemy's radar and then shooting them from behind. Maybe they're in a battle for B with the rest of your team, and you can just kind of come up from behind and shoot them in the back. Or you can run straight through the middle and get to, from point A to point C or point A to point B a little quicker. But obviously, there's a lot of sight lines into the middle, so your risk of getting shot from a spot that you're not looking in is a little greater. So it's a fun map. I think it's got great flanking opportunities, and it's got a great risk-reward system built in because of the way the map flows. I think it's a great map. I actually prefer it over the map that we saw in the console beta, to be honest with you. I like that map a lot too, but I like this one even more. I had a lot of fun. I also want to say, hey, I've been playing this game a lot with a controller on the PC, and I know that makes me a console pleb, but I don't fucking care. It's fun. Like, it feels great with a controller. I played it with keyboard and mouse. I am not a PC gamer by any means. I have been playing exclusively console for many, many years. The last time I put a lot of time into PC gaming was back when Quake 3 Arena was a brand new game. So it's been a long, long time. So for me, using a keyboard and mouse, it just doesn't feel as natural as using a controller. And being able to just plug in a controller and play in Destiny, I was playing on a DualShock 4. You can just plug it into a Windows machine and it just works. It was awesome. It felt good. I felt competitive. I liked it a lot. And you can see from the scores that in the games that I'm posting, it didn't really seem like a disadvantage. There's enough aim assist to kind of make up a little bit for the lack of precision that you lose by using the keyboard and mouse. It felt good. It felt fun. If you're not a PC gamer, but you want to check this out, don't feel bad about using a mouse. Or, I'm sorry, don't feel bad about using a controller. It works great. It feels like Destiny. It feels just like the game that you've been playing for the last 3 years, and it's super fun. So don't let anybody make you feel bad about that. So that's it, man. The PC beta is great. It's got me really excited because of the changes they made to both PvE and PvP for the full release of the game on September 6th. And I'm going to jump in on the PlayStation 4 on September 6th. And I know that from the changes they've made, I think it's going to be a more fun game than what we might have expected from the console beta. I think that the changes they made based on our feedback from the console beta are overwhelmingly positive. I think they've done an awesome job here. And, it's one of those times where I'm glad that we have the community that we have, because based on our feedback, Bungie made changes, and those changes have made the game more fun. And that's awesome. That's awesome to be a fan of a game that has a developer who is listening and being part of a community who is being listened to by the developer. It makes us feel good. It makes me feel good. And the results of it are just fantastic. So the changes we're seeing in the PC beta, I got to say, is more fun than the console beta because of the changes they made based on our feedback from the console beta. So that makes me very happy. I am very psyched for the release of Destiny 2 at this point. It actually has made me, this beta has made me more excited for the console release of Destiny 2 next month than I ever thought it could have. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys have been thinking about the PC beta. Have you been playing it? Are you playing it on a brand new computer? What are your specs? I want to hear. Have you been playing on a potato? Are you able to get it running on your Mac laptop using Boot Camp? What are your experiences with this beta? I honestly think it runs on almost any computer that was built in the last 5 years, because the customizability of this thing and the optimization that they've done for this PC version of Destiny are just absolutely phenomenal. So if you're a little worried if your PC can handle it, jump into the open beta today. The open beta comes out today. Load it up, see if it works. Turn all your settings to low if you got a really potato computer, and see if it works, because it's a lot of fun. And the changes they made are really awesome. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. This time for sure. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. and I'll see you guys next time.